this computer and I'm sharing my screen. Yeah. So yesterday, let's do the quick recap for 1 minute, not more than like 1 to 2 minutes, not more than that. So yesterday we had discussed about HR service configuration. How do we configure the HR service and keep this under proper topic detail to create a record under a proper COE table. So we discussed what is COE, what is HR service. It is to define the request to fulfillment process for the case type, whatever it may be. So the entire fulfillment type procedure will be decided under the HR service. So these HR services are available for the end users either through the service portal, I mean to say employee center, or they can directly come to the portal, I mean platform if they have access and they can create a cases if they require anything. And upon creation of that HR service, what happens, guys? Based on the selection of fulfillment type. Like this fulfillment type, if it's a manual, the HR department will do manually fulfill the requirement what they have raised. If it's a service activity, the task will automatically, sorry, the case will automatically create the task or whatever the service activities. Like if a NDA document to be signed or if any signature to be collected after creating the case, so this service activity enables, and that request will go to the person that needs to be fulfilled. Like if a HR agent needs to share, needs to do some activity, some task, we create one HR task. Like how the tasks are available under request items, right? If an employee has to fill the signature, an activity will be created under service activity, and that will go to the employee. So where they will do that in the employee center under my request section. Sorry, my what is there? Yeah, my task section. Okay. So do I have any tasks? Yes, annual goal update. This way, who anyone, if anyone has to fulfill their thing, the from the service activity, if we enter, this thing will populate. Or here, there is another fulfillment type, life cycle event, that we are going to discuss today. Life cycle event. If anything that needs to be done by employee or any employer or fulfiller or approver, that will either show here or under my approvals. They have to, whoever are assigned to do that task, this will be reflecting in their employee center and they have to fulfill that. Right. So there are a lot of fulfillment types within the HR service. Right. If you click new and see the fields, we have the HR service name, we know the value will automatically be populated, and the fulfillment type we have here. So the fulfillment type, if you select the manual, it is a simple fulfillment type with no associated configurations, guys. Right. Example, if you raise an inquiry, this usually be, for the simple services. If you raise for an inquiry, the HR agent would fulfill the employee's request by answering that employee's question within the HR case, and they simply close it. They mark the HR case as closed complete. That is what is manual fulfillment type. If you select the HR service activity as a fulfillment type, there might be there will be a tab enabled here. You can add 3 to 4 service activities that needs to be done before fulfilling. I mean, before closing this HR case, right? If you can add the service activity, I will show you the service configuration. So if you see the fulfillment type, service activity and PIP assessment, see, I'm going to click this record. Oh, the service activity is there, but no service activities are assigned. Fine. If I take this complete tax form, yeah, there is one service activity. If you see, if I click here, so one of the service activity is to complete. It's a task. It can be anything. It's a task. So complex tax forms in CIC. This is one of the service activity, right? And the this has to be completed first. Say for instance, if I take this service and come here and create a new, I will take create HR new case. If I take create new case, what happens? And select any user and select this service, right? And create a case. What happens? A case will get created including the activity. You can see guys here, there is a activity that needs to be done here. So we can just configure this when this has to be populated. Let Since it's already in ready state, not in draft state, because of this activity, we can move ahead. If you want to configure like this task has to be populated only after marking the state is ready, you can do that. Right. You can just do that. You can populate it. So always the activities will be shown here. I told you guys, this can be either from the life cycle event, if you select this one, or this can be from the service activity. So if open this HR task, see guys where it is routing. The task is routing to SN HR core task, right? Core task. So you can simply complete, closed complete, and update for the following mandatory fields. What mandatory fields are we missing? Assume this one. This is test. And what are we missing? External URL. The following mandatory fields are not filled. External URL. Where is that external URL? I can't see. Update. Okay. Where is that external URL? Show XML. Hmm. External URL. Why am I seeing this, guys? Layout. Do we have this thing? Should have gone to form. Not now. Okay, leave it, guys. Some glitch within the form. Okay, you have to close complete this form. Okay, still it is showing. Did I miss anything? External URL, HR task type, due date, optional, watch list, groups, parent users, assignment group. Where is that external URL? I can't even see that. Leave it, guys. This is an HR core case. This might be some business rule, or this might be some client script they might have added to fill that field, or they might have made mandatory and left. Okay, ignore it. So as soon as you close this task will be closed, and then you will be able to mark this as closed complete, guys. Right. So this way the service activity works. So this is one type under HR service. And if you if you see, we have lot of fields here. Topic detail. As soon as you select the topic detail, automatically the topic category and COE will populate. And we have this showcase to subject person here. If you observe, guys, so what will this do? So this is only for employee center, showcase to subject person, right? This option to show the HR case to the subject person when it is created, including, right, including HR task is assigned to the subject person. If any task is assigned to the subject person, as soon as you select this in employee center, this will show. Usually what happens in employee center, if you create the case, it will only show to you. It will only show in your my request, not to the other person, right? But if you mark this and create this specific HR service, he can see this HR service in his my request section. You understand now what I am trying to tell, right? So under my request, what will show? Only the requests which are created by you guys, right? If you select this subject showcase to subject person, this will reflect to him also, right? We have another fields here: complete, template, record producer. So template, what is the purpose of template? To auto populate few fields as and when the HR service is selected and created the HR case. You don't have to fill all the fields in every time when you select that HR service. Automatically the fields like the short description and priority has to set to moderate to 3, or the state has to be in ready state, and there might be assignment group you want to give to the specific HR tier 2, tier 3. Like this, you have lot of fields that needs to be pre-selected, that can be selected in template, and you can just simply assign that template to this HR service, guys, right? And we have record producer. You can make this available for HR service. Like if you create a record producer and make it available in employee center, as and when you create request from that record producer, that will be parked under this specific HR COE, right? You have to keep it in mind. So it is not recommended to create a multiple record producer and assign it to same HR service, right? So you always have to create a record producer and assign it to this HR service and make it available in this COE table. And again, we have case options. Yesterday we did not discuss case options. So these are some additional benefits to the HR departments, I would say agent, who can add directly from this lock option. If you uncheck this and click on this search box, you have few options. Add manager to wish list. We don't have to configure from scripting part and all. As soon as he clicks this, simply as and when this service is created, the manager will be added to the case, right? Add manager to the watch list, right? So these are the examples. Agent can add an approval. If agent agent in the sense whoever creates this HR case. So if he wants additional approval apart from this service activity or life cycle event, if you want any additional approval that needs to be obtained before moving ahead of this case, he can just simply add this. So what happens? That thing will trigger. Right, skip auto assign. So what happens as and when the HR service is created, usually the assignment group will be selected from the HR template, or some matching rules or some assignment rules like advanced work assignment. If for that service the auto assignment is not required, simply he can select this skip auto assign. What happens? That will not work. The auto assignment will not work. Whatever the rules are configured for that. Right, guys? So these are nothing but the HR case options. In real time, only one point, usually this manager to wish list, or one or two will be used, not much, guys. And HR criteria, guys. If you want to make this HR service to be available for any specific kind of users, like we have thousands of HR department users, but not everyone will take care of this HR service. Only this particular department. Say, for instance, it's a background check, right? A BGV, background department. So this service has to be available only for them, and this HR criteria defines this HR service has to be available only if the logged in user is from the specific location, like only to the HR users, and this HR background is for only users. So the end users only will be able to select this HR service, and the respective department will be only able to resolve this, right, guys? And we have open for an approver. These two are also for employee center, right? If you select default, and this view will be there for both the person and case configuration we had discussed, as well as HR service additional information. If you want to show up some fields for this specific service, you can bring these fields up and that fields will be shown. And the checklist yesterday we saw. So if you take some work visa transfer, which having is this have the checklist. Yeah, let me just close this. The last one, guys, and then we'll quickly jump to the life cycle event part. So if I take this work visa transfer, if I open this, yeah, it has checklist. If I take this service and come here and create a new case, right? Take Pawan's name, right, guys? If I take Pawan's name and select this service, right? And it is under HR talent management, and I am gonna create this case. What happens? Yeah, it is directly changed to ready state and the checklist is available. This checklist is populating because the service has checklist we added. If you want to add some items, that will automatically come here. So the again, guys, this checklist configuration also can be done as part of your configuration customization. If you don't want the checklist to be available at ready state, you can mark it at closed complete state. Before closed complete, you can make this available checklist and you can mark whatever are done. So whatever are done, that will be strike off because these all things are completed. Request copy of visa and supporting from the subject person as this is done. So mark check with visa immigration and you can just simply mark that and closed complete update, guys. This is how the checklist and the additional information. This is the additional information. It has right business justification. So here business justification is shown somewhere here. Right. Where is that? That will be okay. Let it be. So usually that business justification field is not showing up for some reason here. Yeah, oh, sorry. Here it is there. It was not properly added from the form layout, guys. Right. Otherwise, it would have shown here or somewhere based on your form layout. Right, guys. You can see that. Uh, this way we can discuss about HR service things. Right. Now you have a complete understanding of how HR service is created and how the flow will go in HR SD module. This is the difference between ITSM and HRSD. Now, let's just quickly go to the life cycle event, which is a very important part. Right? Oh shit, did I closed? Yeah, HR life cycle events. So I'll tell you first, I'll tell you we'll take one new tab. First, guys, what is a life cycle? In real time, ignore about HRSD. Life cycle, if you take human life, will be kids, right? And then teens at 16, 17, 18, 19 teens and adults, right? And will our lifetime, our lifespan will go. This is our entire life cycle, right? And we'll go to elders, sorry, adults and then old, old age people, right? We become old age, right? And then the end of life. This is the life cycle of a human life. The same thing for birds, right? It will be egg and then it takes life. It comes from egg and then it lives for 10 to 20 years and then it dies. This is the entire life cycle. But this life cycle will have a set of activities we do, right? So that will be decided upon our mindset. This is entirely the life cycle of a person, right? Keep it aside. Now come here. What is a life cycle, right? It is a framework designed to automate and manage complex HR processes that span multiple tasks, departments, and systems. So, what they are saying, again, I'll tell you one more example. Say, for instance, guys, if you want to buy a apartment in Hyderabad, right? You are willing to buy an apartment in Hyderabad. It has lot of procedure. You need to reach out to the uh, apartment broker first and then or apartment marketing team to know about the apartment and then you have to reach out to the apartment sales guy, right? And then you have to reach out to the bank, right? There are multiple steps and multiple teams involved within your plan, and you have to discuss. So say for instance apartment sale, and you have to reach out to your family and discuss, right? And then once your family agreed, and you have to reach out to bank for loan, right? And and after that you have to reach out to again apartment to provide the check check to the apartment owner or salesperson, whoever it may be. This is entirely, if you observe, guys, there are a lot of departments and activities involved within this procedure, right? So what happens if you reach out to marketing guy? He will explain you about lots of things, which means there are some activities involved. He needs to first, in the marketing, what will they tell you? Sir, our apartment is good, this, that, and so that's a task for the employee. I mean, task for the marketing guy. Right, right. So that's a task for marketing guy. And if you want any information, like you are reaching out to the marketing guy, if you want any information, he'll be sending you an email. I would say the notification to you. Right. If if you need to acknowledge, you need to acknowledge. It's a task for you. Acknowledge. For example, you are an employee. It's an acknowledgement, is a task. Right. These are the set of activities, guys. It is the set of these are the set of activities, and this has to be done in a flow. Right. Fine, you acknowledge. And a confirmation. You have to send confirmation to be done by employee, guys. Right. Confirmation to be done by employee. And under the apartments, there are other procedures. Notification again, right? I mean, an email to be sent to salesperson that finally I agreed. A confirmation. This is a task. Assume this is a task, right? So this way, and your family agreed. It's one task. Another task. Your family, you need to discuss with your family's final task before obtaining for the bank loan. You have to arrange some cash, 10% of cash, and 90% you go for a loan, or some 20-30% cash and you will go for a loan. And within a bank, there is a procedure, right? For you, there will be tasks under this procedure also. For bank people also, they will enter the application. It's their task, application task, right? And 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 they will share you notification to provide some documents, or we would say email, right? And they will ask you to e-sign, e-signature to their documents, right? And they will come for verification, like your office verification, your address verification. These are the set of activities for banks. Right. And again, once these all things are done, and within bank there are more departments again, they have to confirm to the disbursement team to release the check. It's a task for them. Right. And handing over to the apartment guy is a task to you. Right, guys. Handing over the check to apartment guy is a task to you. And finally, again, there will be one more task, handing over the key to you. And if you want to add, keep on activities, you can keep adding the activities to the procedure. It's a life cycle, guys. For any person, if there are multiple departments are involved, which is having a complex task that needs to be done, this life cycle coming to the picture in HRSD. If you understand, there are multiple tasks for both employers and as well as employees. And those set of activities, if you feel they are the complex, if you see this is entirely the complex, how do I know, guys? Suddenly a bank guy may come and ask me. So if this is a structured, if I have this complete document in one page, I'll be able to understand, okay, this is my part. I have to do this thing, and this is someone else's part. So this is one example, guys. I'm telling you. Now coming to the organization and HRSD module, you are onboarding. right? You are onboarding into an organization. There will be a multiple tasks. This is a real time example that we use in real time, guys. Make sure you are listening. Do not sleep over, right, guys? So if you are onboarding, there are multiple departments involved. Can you create a workflow for that? Because it will take hundreds of activities. Can you create a flow designer? No. But assume we have one application which helps by just adding the tasks. So that application is nothing but life cycle and events, right? Where the multiple and complex tasks and multiple departments are involved. This life cycle and event will be used, and this can be called into a HR service. Right, guys. Say for instance, the HR service is onboarding, and and what happens if what are the activities that might be involved when you are onboarding into an organization? First, you have to share a document for BGV, and it's your task. And BGV team has to initiate BGV. It's their task. So, in your set of activity, first what happens? You get a notification, which means you get a mail, and you have to do one task that comes under one set of activity, and BGV team will initiate the BGV, and they have to send an green, like they are agreeing that it's completely a good profile. So they have to send a confirmation mail to the recruitment team. It's a green profile, everyone is pure, right? So it's their set of activity, and recruitment team will have to share an offer letter with you, and they have to onboard you, or it can be HR department. So they have some set of activities, and as soon as you onboard, the IT department has to provide laptop, and you have to provide the details. So it's a combination, you and him, both a set of activities in every part of your onboarding procedure, guys. You're understanding, right, guys? So it contains a lot of set of activities, right? This is an example for HR lifecycle and event, guys. Guys, anyone have any questions still here? Please respond if you do not have any questions also.
No, Shiva.
Fine, great. So, what is HR lifecycle and event? It's a framework designed to automate and manage complex HR processes that span multiple tasks, departments, and systems. It is that critical that everyone agrees on the flow and their areas of responsibility. This is what we had discussed. Everyone have their own responsibility at their part. Since you map out a life cycle event, consider who is responsible for owning the activity, and what the activity type is, and if there is a target audience for that activity. So I've told you. So you might be having some responsibilities to fulfill a task within the life cycle of a HR loan, or I mean, sorry, a home loan. So the same thing, even during onboarding, you have some activities to do. You have to share a mail with your documents. You have to acknowledge that I'm agreeing to join in your organization using the mail, and you have to sign that it's a activity. There might be a lot of tasks involved in this procedure. So to make that too easy, to make it easy for everyone, this life cycle has come into a picture. I'll show you in instance how it looks like, right, guys? So this is a document, a theoretical document to understand, and I will show you in the instance also. Make sure you are following, guys. Again, I am telling you, we were discussing this part under HR service. I will take one life cycle event. Yeah, new hire onboarding. We are discussing this fulfillment type for HR service. For one of HR service, if we take the fulfillment type as life cycle event, how the service will flow is what we'll be discussing today. And we'll create one example also, guys. Although it's complex, we'll make it easy. We will not add more activities, or we will not add more tasks. So we will create that. We'll create one example, guys, right? So if you come, and yeah, before discussing this HR lifecycle event, make sure that you had make sure that you had installed the required plugin for lifecycle event. There is a complete separate plugin, because few organizations are not using at all this lifecycle, but majority of the organizations are using this lifecycle, because it's uh, easy to use. What I would say, life cycle HR underscore SN underscore HR underscore core underscore life cycle. Mm, life underscore cycle, is it? What it is? Okay, I'll do one thing. Or if I come here, if I open this, let me check if I can find. It's a separate plugin actually, guys. I'm not sure if it's dependent on the family plugin. Usually, we have to install it separately, the lifecycle event. I will show you otherwise from here. If you click here, oh my God. Yeah, if you click here and click this, there will be a, see, human resource lifecycle enterprise and human resource lifecycle events. Right. So this is the application you have to select whenever you want to do some work related to with respect to life cycle events. Right, guys. So this plugin you have to install. Yes, the life cycle events. Right. I click this. What happens? Application scope. LE. This is the shortcut. Okay. So this plugin you have to install, guys. Then only this life cycle event will be enabled. See guys, since I have already installed, but make sure you have installed it, right? This is for enterprise and this enables you to easily configure digital workflows to manage employee lifecycle event throughout a single service delivery. So automate onboarding other, yeah, this is for enterprise and this is for general. You can just install both the things. So there will not be much difference. This way you have to first install the plugin and mark your application as lifecycle events. Right now, come to the lifecycle events. Manage lifecycle events, guys. We have only two to three. That is the demo data. Right. If I go to our document, what is lifecycle event type? Example of lifecycle events include employee onboarding, offboarding, parental leave, because it has lot of activities. It has lot of activities. So these are some examples. Right. So these are the lifecycle event types. These are the types. You can just create on your own. Today we'll create one life cycle event. Right. What are the different stages of the life cycle event? These stages are represented as activity sets. Right. I have been saying this activity sets, right? Here, instead of stages, we call as activity sets. Now, I will just open this. Let it come, guys. Which act as containers for the associated activities. Each activity set is triggered based on specific conditions. All these points are very important. Act as containers, which means a set of activities will be part under one activity, and set of activities will be part of second activity. Right? In our example, like in our loan or onboarding example, I will show you. So this is the first lifecycle event if you want to create new hire onboarding demo, and event type is onboarding. There are, why again, enterprise. Okay, I am gonna select this enterprise only. Life cycle enterprise. Right, guys. So now if I come here and refresh this page, right. So we have different types of event types: onboarding, offboarding, transitions, and HR services. You can select anyone. If you select HR service and save this, you can just directly call this. You can either select onboarding and you can call this. We will show this. We will discuss this, right? Say for instance, this is onboarding and click activity sites. See guys, just do not completely see every single part. Just understand this from activity set point of view. This entire part, whatever I selected, is entirely one activity set. This entire part, pre-boarding, is another activity set. This is third activity set. This is fourth activity set. This is fifth activity set. And rescindent, we will discuss. Rescindent means it's a basically undo thing, which means re-triggering the same thing. If something got broken, this rescindent will come to the picture and the same thing will happen. Right. Okay. So these are the containers, guys. This entire set one is a container. You can observe the line now, guys, here. See, entire container got selected. See, the entire container got selected. It might be having lot of set of activities, guys. Just try to understand. I have explained you this example. Fulfiller may have some activity, sometimes employee may have some activity, right? So their respective activities has been configured under this set of pre-boarding activity, and we have another set of day one activity, and few of them employee has to fulfill and fulfiller has to be done, and there will be notification also if as per the order we give. This is the container. You understand, right, guys? These stages are represented as, these are the stages. Pre-boarding, stage 1, day 1, stage 2, week 1, stage 3, day 30, stage 4, or activity set, which act as containers for the associated activities. These are the activities, associated activities, guys. So this is entirely one container under stage 1. These things has to be done. Right now, guys, each activity set is triggered based on specific condition. These all were triggered and this all will be in order. How do you do that? How do we do that? That we'll see. That we'll create an example. What are the different activities for each activity set? For each activity, determining the appropriate owning group and activity set and activity type and audience. So who owns the activity? Lifecycle events generally span multiple departments. Each activity must be owned by the relevant group that is responsible for overseeing and maintaining that activity, such as IT, HR, or facilities. I've told you now, guys. So the owning group, whoever owns it, fulfiller, this is HR responsibility, work visa transfer, and they have to take care of this and they will complete this. Okay, I've told you where we can see these things. Employee complete profile information, where he can see that either he has to send it through mail or he will get access to the employee center. There he has to go and there he has to fulfill his activity. Right. And this is his activity, employee's activity, dental benefits enrollment. This is his activity. Vision benefits enrollment. This is his activity. Set up payroll. This is fulfiller activity. Again, the one of the HR guy will have to do this. Right. See, lot of activities have been triggered. This is entirely, if you had to do this through workflow or flow, just assume, guys, how complex it is. But since we have this lifecycle event application, see how easier it is to understand and how easier it is to configure. But it has a lot of things to discuss. We can just do that. It takes a lot of time. We will not complete this in one go, in one session. We will take 1 or 2 sessions again to discuss, to create more examples, because you have to be more clear what I have been explaining as. Right, guys? Even you, along with me, you also have to do the hard work. You have to create one example. Then only you will you will be able to understand the entire part. Right, guys? And the what is activity type? Is it a task for an employee or fulfiller? An upload or notification? Yes, it might be a activity. This is one activity, right? This is another activity. Right. These all are the activities under activity set. Is it a task for an employer or fulfiller or an approval or notification? Yes, it is everything. It is approvals. It is task for employees. Activities for fulfillers, which can be configured as order guides, catalog items, notifications. It can be anything. Activity type can be anything, guys. Important. Right. Is there a targeted audience for activities? Some activity we are talking about. These activities only, guys. Some activities are not required for all employees, and you can use audience records to target the activity to the appropriate user types. Right. So this is what all about these activities. What they are saying, it is not some for some activities, like for this, say for instance, there might be some activities. Yeah, this is the request. Some activities, this employees do not have to do anything, and employers or fulfillers have not to do anything. It's directly a request. It will directly be done automatically, right? If this has to be done, there might be some activities where employees intervention is not required or fulfillers intervention is not required. See, a flow is also been called logout and send notification. This flow will coming to the picture, right, guys? We will see this. Let's go and create one simple example. This is event plugin, enterprise plugin. New is that included as demo data with lifecycle events for enterprise. Event is organized. Yeah, this is what we discussed so far, guys. Let let me just create. Let me just explain you the things involved within this. I will just create one simple example today, and tomorrow we will create one complex example. Agreed, guys? I will create one under this. Under types, I'm going to create one simple example. Whatever we can do, we can just do project onboarding, right? This is this is for new project onboarding. You have to enter the title and make sure it's active. New project onboarding into a organization, right? And disable activity sets to display. Sorry, display activity sets to subject person. Again, in the employee view, sort activities by due date or display order. So there are two types. So activities, in the sense I've already told you, these are activities. This can be either shown display order, in the sense, right? 100, 200, 300. But if you want it due date, right? When you select this lifecycle event, there the activities will be shown based on the due date, and they have to complete it within the due date, not the order. Or it can be order, right? 100, 200, 300. First, this activity has to be done, and second, that activity has to be done, or third, that this activity has to be done, in that way. And display activity sets to subject person. Again, the same thing. If that subject person wants to see all these activities, he can see this. Usually, the subject person sometimes will be different than open for. So, in that scenarios, he should be having the visibility of viewing this, right? So, I'm gonna save this project onboarding. I can select onboarding instead of HR service, right? I'm gonna select this project onboarding, right, guys? And if I come to activity sets, see, guys, now how easy it is to understand, right? Here, only 3 to 4 fields to fill: description, title, display activity sets to subject person. In the employee view, sort activities by display order, event type. It can be onboarding, offboarding, transitions, and HR service. If you can select anyone, you can either select HR service or onboarding. So this is a type of onboarding. We are just marking it as a onboarding, and activity set will be same for anything. You can select this. We are just categorizing it, guys. That's it. We are just categorizing it here, right? Onboarding. It's a onboarding, right? So we are selecting as onboarding, and come here. Yeah, here we have activity sets. We have activity set 2. We have activity set 3. Right. If you see, we have some fields. Previous, switch to classic new UI. So this doesn't look good. This way it will show. We need we need that view only. Right. We don't want this view. Why I can't see the new view? Default view. and I will go to activity sets, right? This is the latest view and default view, right? We have add new. You can add an activity set from here, or you can add employee request, clone lifecycle event. If you want to create a new lifecycle using this set of activities, you can create, just you can simply clone it and change the values accordingly and delete it. So if you trigger the activities here, you won't be able to delete it. If you do not trigger it, you can simply delete it, right? I will create one simple example. First activity, set of activity. Say for instance, it's a yeah. This activity can be manager discussion, right? And this is a manager discussion. Trigger type is when this should be triggered, guys. When this should be triggered, you can select immediate. Date means it's a condition, like on the specific date. Other activity set, like if it is dependent on that activity. Advanced, you can add script when it meet that condition, that will trigger this activity set, will trigger this condition. Based on condition, if you want, you can give the condition, right? You can do the combination type, or and other activity set along with the condition, you can do that. I will just select immediate, right? Immediate, and I will update it. Right, this is the manager discussion. This is one trigger condition. So the first set of activity will get trigger as soon as the case is created, is what it means. Right, this is first set of activity. And within this activity, how did you do this, guys? This is a pencil icon, you can see. This is an edit option. From here you can do and add activity here. First activity, it's a HR task for employee, or it can be approval. If you want to select, if you want to select an approval, right? Title, requesting. If you just add first activity, requesting approval, guys, right? And owning group, HR, tier 1, right? So who has to approve it? I will just select myself as approver. Okay, approvers from case you can take this, or approver groups also you can just simply mark it, right? Who has to approve it, and approval will be done. And owning group, this activity is owning group is owned by this tier 1 group, right? It's the first set of, under the first set of activity, first activity has to be approval and submitted. This way we can add first activity, right? And assume we had added many activities from here, right? And now activity set 2. I will just take the, after manager approval, manager or project onboarding procedure, right? So it's depends on other activities. What if you select this, you can select anything, right? If I select this other activity set, it will ask. So what I have to select? The other activity set, manage the discussion. So it will dependent, as soon as it's done, this other activity will come into the picture. Or you can just add any condition if you want, right? You can take this life cycle event COE table and add the state is work in progress, right? The state change it to work in progress. You can just update this condition, or you can just take a date also after specific date, and you can just update. This is another set of activity set. Say for instance, under this there are lot of activities, and one activity is for task. Okay, and you have to select. Uh, okay, I will just, we have to create one project details. We have to create one template, guys. We will quickly create one template. Oh god, time is running out. I will just why it's slow, very slow. Under HR templates, right? I will create new, right? What is the table? It's a HR task. So I will select HR for task, and the template, I would say template project, I would add, and the fields. First, I want to populate short description. This is for project onboarding, right? And choose field state is work in progress or ready, right? And priority set to moderate, and anything you want to add, anything you can keep adding things, right? From in the template. So assume you had created this and submit, right? Now come here and see, just open this and search for the template you had asked, created. See template project, right guys? You selected this, and again HR tier 2, right? This owning group is tier 2. So what happens under HR task, this template will be called. And here even employee activity, here you can just uh, create your own activity configurations also, guys, right? So we have title, description, activity type. As I told you, it can be approver, employee, fulfiller, notification, flow, content, activity container. You can use anything, right? So this is one more project detail. This is an employee task, right? And I want to just create another task. It's an employer. It's a fulfiller part, HR task, and again uh, project completion. I just assume project completion and take the same HR task. Okay, let's not create another one. It's taking time, right, guys? Template project, and you can just take HR tier 3. Guys, I have only created one activity under each each activity sets, but there might be tens, 20s of activities. It can be notification, it can be employee, it can be approver, it can be anything, guys. So this way we can add and update it, right? Now we created this project onboarding, right? So let's just check this how it will show. First, we'll create one HR service, guys. I will just create. Or do we have any project? Um, no, we don't have. Let me just create one HR service project onboarding, right? This is select lifecycle event, and you can come here and select the project onboarding, right, guys? And topic detail, you want to under the lifecycle event, what categories do we have? Topic details we will take. We have, let's create one topic detail only. Uh, Before that, one topic category also you have to create, right? Under lifecycle topic category, right? New, right? Lifecycle events. This is project onboarding and offboarding and offboarding, right? This is a topic category. Submit, right? And if you want to create one topic detail under that category, topic detail, right? Um, okay, I will just click new. I will just create project onboarding, right? And from here, I will take one project category that we had created, sorry. Now I will go to HR new service that I have been creating. Now if I click, I will find my category project, right, guys? Project onboarding under the category under this service. I can select this, right? And assume this can take, you can take default open for, this is for employee center, default open for, and that's it guys, submit it. We have created HR service and assigned this to lifecycle event. Now come and create HR case. See, create new HR case. HR case, I will directly select from here, lifecycle events, and I will take project onboarding. Right, guys? Create a case. See, now it's in draft state. Right. If you just click ready for work, the lifecycle event will get triggered. Right, guys? Ready for work. Okay. I did not give this in temp. Oh, I haven't created template. Fine. For HR service, there is no template now, guys. That's why few fields are not filled. This is test for HR lifecycle events. Right. Save. See, guys. Now it's changed to ready and a life cycle has been enabled, guys. Right. Life cycle has been enabled directly. So now it is first waiting for in progress manager discussion. This is first activity set. This is second activity set. This is third activity set. So when you just the first activity set has to be enabled immediately first, right? If you come here and life cycle approvals, you can see now, guys. First, it is asking for the approval. I myself added as approval. So if I click just approve this, approved, and mark this, what happens? And refresh the page. The state is approved, and and a HR task is already there, right? If you just change this to a work in progress, what happens? See, this is done, and it has came here because the second approval set is selected under condition now guys, this will only trigger when the condition is met, only when the state is work in progress, right? And the third activity set, did we created anything? Oh, we haven't. This has to be condition when, or this has to be uh, other activity set when the project onboarding procedure or managed discussion, when the project onboarding procedure is done, update it. We haven't added anything, so that's the reason that this task is showing up upfront in the HR service, right? Just refresh this, right? There are tasks that are showing up. It's work in progress. So this was automatically shown. Usually this task only will show first and the second task will show later. But now the life cycle is event is already called. Now it won't be updated. So close this HR task directly. This is the template we have used and close, complete, update. Right. So once this is done, this will move ahead, right, to another set, right? If you just refresh this, so this way we can discuss, guys. See, okay, we directly closed the third task instead of the second task. That's the reason. Ignore. This is the second one. We just can close this and update. Entire entire life cycle will be completed. And what happens? See, tick, tick, tick. This set of activities is done and it is fulfilled. This can be marked as closed complete. This way we can discuss about life cycle event. Tomorrow we will create one big example with 3-4 activities set, guys. Then only you will understand. This is very important and that's the reason. Sorry for the more time. I had to extend it because I have to complete the entire thing. So okay guys, anybody have any questions? I'll stop the recording. Anybody? Amar, Shashi, Suresh, Vinay, Santosh.
No shit.
If you are all clear, okay, you can drop off. It's already exceeded 3 minutes.